Have you ever wondered what Africans truly think when they hear the word America? Is it hope? Is it doubt? Or is it something far more complex? A mix of respect, curiosity, and the quiet question of why the world listens more to one voice than another. World war, politics, music, movies, fashion, dreams. America has always been more than a country. For many Africans, it's an idea, a vision, a mirror reflecting both what they admire and what they question about the world. But what do Africans really think about Americans? It's not a simple answer. It's layered with admiration, confusion, pride, and sometimes even quiet criticism. Let's explore this from the heart, honestly, deeply, and without filters. When you talk to people across Africa, from Nairobi to Lagos, from Accra to Johannesburg, you'll hear similar tones in their voices. They see America as a land of power, of loudness, of freedom, but also of contradictions. America is seen as a country that talks about equality, yet still struggles with racism. A country that celebrates success, but sometimes forgets humility. And Africans, being observers and storytellers by nature, notice these things. They ask themselves, how can a country so free still be divided? How can people with so much still want more? And yet, at the same time, they admire that hunger, that drive. Because in a way, it mirrors the spirit of Africa itself, the desire to rise above limits and make something out of nothing. Most Africans first met America through a screen. For decades, Hollywood movies, hip-hop music, and global news networks shaped the image of the United States. America became the land of dreams, a place where anyone could make it, where the impossible suddenly looked possible. Every child who watched Michael Jackson dance, every teenager who listened to Tupac or Beyoncé, every young dreamer who saw skyscrapers in New York or the lights of Los Angeles, they built an image in their mind. But is that image real? Many Africans wonder. Some say America is the home of opportunity. They believe Americans are brave, outspoken, creative, and confident. Others think Americans are too loud, too individualistic, too quick to think the world revolves around them. But whatever side of the opinion one stands on, one thing remains clear: Americans inspire emotion. Love them or criticize them, Africans feel something about them. Now, let's be honest, admiration is real. Africans see Americans as innovative. They see the technology, the space exploration, the wealth, the entertainment industry. Many young Africans dream of studying in the US, working there, or even living there. They believe that being in America could open doors they might never see open at home. And for some, it does. For others, it teaches something more valuable, that the American dream is not automatic. You still have to fight for it, and that fight is not easy. But let's pause for a moment. If you're enjoying this narration, if you believe that stories like this matter, take a quick second to subscribe. That one click helps this voice reach more people across the world. All right, now let's keep going. So, what exactly shapes African views about Americans? A big part of it comes from media. From the way movies show American life to how news portrays its politics, Africans absorb it all. They see America as both the hero and the villain of the modern world. The country that sends aid, and also the one that drops bombs. The land that preaches democracy, and sometimes acts with arrogance. It's complicated, but Africans understand complication because their own history has been full of it. When an African sees Americans protesting against their own government, they sometimes smile and say, "So, even they have problems?" It humanizes them. It removes the perfection. Because for many years, America was painted as this flawless land where everyone is rich, happy, and safe. But the more Africans learn, the more they realize that America has its share of struggles: gun violence, social inequality, mental health challenges, and broken politics. Yet, even with those flaws, Africans respect one thing deeply: the American ability to speak up, to question authority, to dream out loud. Because in many parts of Africa, freedom of expression isn't always safe. Seeing Americans debate their leaders on live TV, protest on the streets, and criticize the system openly, that's powerful. It shows courage. And courage is something Africans understand. Now, there's another side, the cultural one. Africans love American music, but they've also turned it around. Hip-hop inspired generations of African rappers who now tell their own stories through beats and rhymes. American fashion inspired African streetwear, but today, those styles are mixed with Ankara, kitenge, and vibrant African prints. It's no longer imitation, it's innovation. Africans have taken what they admire and reshaped it into something new, something local, something proudly African. And then there's language. The internet made American slang universal. Bro, fam, lit, vibes, all over Africa. People say these words with confidence. Some elders laugh about it, wondering what it means. But to the youth, it's a way of connecting with a global culture. Still, they never lose their roots. A Nigerian might say, "Bro, that party was mad-o." Mixing English and pidgin with no apology. That's the African way. Take the world's culture, remix it, and make it your own. Now, I ask myself, do Africans secretly want to be Americans? And the answer is no. They want to be seen like Americans. They want the same respect, the same recognition, the same global voice. They want to tell their own stories with the same spotlight that America enjoys. It's not envy, it's equality they seek. And let's be real, the relationship between Africa and America hasn't always been fair. From colonization's shadow to economic imbalance, Africa has often been seen as the place that needs help. But now, that narrative is changing. Africa is young, energetic, creative, and confident. And many Africans are saying, we don't want to be saved. We want to be partners. Interestingly, Africans often see Americans as optimistic, sometimes overly so. They see Americans smiling a lot, believing anything is possible, even when the odds say otherwise. To Africans, that's both admirable and a bit funny. Because in Africa, people often balance hope with realism. They've seen hardship and learned to laugh through it. So when an American says, "You can do anything if you try," an African might smile and think, "You're right, but try doing it here." Still, there's warmth between the two cultures. Africans appreciate Americans' friendliness. When Americans visit Africa, they're often welcomed with open arms. But locals also notice things. They see how some visitors act surprised that Africans speak English, use phones, or wear jeans. And that misunderstanding sometimes hurts. Because Africa is modern too. Africans wish more Americans would see beyond the stereotypes, beyond the safari and the charity ads. They want Americans to see the real Africa, the tech hubs, the universities, the music festivals, the poetry nights. Sometimes Africans ask themselves quietly, why do Americans know so little about us? And then they laugh, because they know media shapes everyone differently. Still, they hope. They hope for a day when an African story can be as mainstream as an American one. And that's already happening. Look around. African artists are on Billboard charts. African fashion is on New York runways. African movies are on Netflix. The tide is turning. If you've been listening up to this point, I want to say thank you. And while you're here, if you believe that African voices should be heard, don't forget to subscribe. It helps more people find these real, human stories. Now, let's go deeper. How do Africans view America's politics? It's a mix of fascination and fatigue. Many Africans follow U.S. elections like it's a global sport. They analyze debates, speeches, scandals, everything. They know who the presidents are, the senators, the policies. And they compare. Some say, if only our elections were that transparent. Others say, Americans just argue too much. But what stands out is the passion Americans have for their democracy and the chaos that sometimes comes with it. When Africans see Americans divided by race, by party, by ideology, they shake their heads, not in judgment, but in surprise. Because they once thought unity was America's secret. Now they realize America is human too. Still, the admiration doesn't fade. Africans respect how Americans fight for their beliefs, from civil rights to women's rights to LGBTQ+ issues. That courage to demand justice inspires many on the continent. It shows that progress isn't given, it's fought for. And yet, there's also criticism. Africans often feel that America plays world police, interfering where it shouldn't. They wonder, why does America act like it owns the world? But deep down, they understand why. Power creates responsibility and sometimes arrogance. So while they might criticize America's foreign policies, they still look to it for leadership. It's that strange mix again, respect and resistance. There's another layer too, faith. Religion is strong in Africa. When Africans see Americans becoming more secular, they wonder if that's strength or loss. Some admire the freedom of belief. Others fear moral decay. It's a deep cultural difference that sparks endless conversations across the continent. And then there's everyday life. Africans see Americans working multiple jobs, chasing bills, constantly moving. They admire the discipline but question the peace. Because in Africa, despite the challenges, people still find time to laugh, to share a meal, to talk. To an African, happiness isn't just success, it's togetherness. And that's something they think Americans sometimes forget. Still, both worlds have something to teach each other. Americans teach Africans about ambition. Africans teach Americans about soul. And when these two connect, when understanding replaces stereotype, something beautiful happens. Before I wrap this up, if you've been enjoying this deep dive, remember to subscribe, share, and like. That's how this story reaches the next listener who might just need to hear it. So, what do Africans really think about Americans? They think Americans are bold, confident, and restless. They think they talk too much, but also act fast. They admire their technology, but worry about their values. They laugh at their slang, but use it anyway. They see their flaws, but still believe there's something to learn from them. In the end, Africans